Carolla, broadcaster, TV star, actor, writer, willing to throw it all away.
Sure.
To become the next president of the United States of America.
Yeah. It's really just a way to sell more books.
You and Donald Trump go for the same gimmick.
Well, think about, if you do get to become president, think about what that book deal is.
Yeah, that's a nice deal. The speaking tours are unbelievable.
Oh, my God. The banquet circuit. And if you really just think about, even the first lady, like Michelle Obama, that's easy six-figure deals there, right?
Constant, too.
Yeah.
Just constant. It's easy stuff. It's after dinner. You just get up, hey, everyone, just take care of yourself.
You tell a few of the same stories over and over again. And you have a couple guys punch it up, so there's a few laughs in there.
There's a couple of laughs. Not too many, though.
No, but when it's appropriate, and then you just cash that, $250,000 check from whatever college you showed up to.
Sure.
Awesome.
And then everybody, there's extra for the VIP people that want to get a picture. That's extra cash coming your way. It's a nice deal.
It's a sweet gig, yeah.
Now, I'm reading over your book, and the thing is, the president doesn't really get to make a lot of these moves that you lined up.
I know. I was thinking of King me or Dictator me, Adolf me. It just didn't, none of it rolled off the Mussolini me. Like, it didn't work right, but it's really dictator.
Yeah. Well, the mayor of New York has way more power than the president of the United States. If the mayor of New York just goes, we want to put chairs in the middle of Times Square, get rid of cars and just let people sit down in Times Square, he can do it. He can put up bike lanes. But if a president wants to do anything, it takes forever of everyone else fighting over it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I always say, whenever somebody, a few years back when Obama was doing, coming into his first term, and everyone was like, hope and change, baby, hope and change. And I'm like, really? First off, what change? I don't think you'll notice from one to the next. There couldn't be a greater chasm between two people and two personalities and two governing styles than, let's say, Bush and Obama. But if you were just locked in a closet and you had no access to the information that would let you know who the president was, do you think you could tell?
No.
See, I don't think you could even tell. And by the way, so the change part, everyone makes, it's going to be a whole new America that's going to be united and blah, blah, blah. And then it's basically the same place. It always was.
The same place, but it just gives one side a chance to hate on the other. It's almost better when the guy you voted for doesn't become president. Right. Because then you can stay pretty righteous for the next 4 years of just yelling. You're just happy with that bastard.
It's like being the coach of the Cleveland Browns. You're going to go 5-11 every single year. And if your guy ever got in there, he'd still go 5-11.
Right, no matter what happens.
But now you'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
Better be the other guy go 5-11, and you could go, man, if they just took my guy, they'd be making the playoffs about now.
I think the best thing in the world that I've ever seen is the way, because people get so outrageously angry at the other party. But when you saw that the Clintons and Bushes were partying together, and then it occurs to you, it's like good guy, bad guy wrestlers. They have a lot more in common with each other than they do their own fans.
Ultimately, it's like divorce attorneys, where you go, it's my attorney versus her attorney.
Right.
No. They go out to the same golf club on Sundays. Yeah. They're buddies.
They're getting paid.
They're both getting paid.
Yeah.
They need each other to get paid. It's symbiotic for them.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to believe that Washington is that way as well. I just there's you, I'll play good cop and bad cop, but either way, we'll get a bunch of money.
Yeah.
We'll go out to lunch and we'll get nothing done.
Just like you said, 5-11, the owner of the Cleveland Browns gets the same money as the owner of the Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
They're doing okay.
Sure.
They're doing all right. It's everybody else who buys into the gimmick that spends all their time screaming.
Sure.
But you're going to take it over for us. You're going to run for this, and you're going to win it.
There is going to be change and no hope. By the way, I hated the hope part of the hope and change.
Yeah.
Hope is buying a lottery ticket in your bathrobe and sitting around and hoping that ping pong ball comes out of the hopper. This is America. We don't hope. We build shit or we go shoot down shit, but we don't hope for shit.
Well, we haven't built shit in a long time.
Yes.
And I try to explain this to the young guys working around here, that when I was a kid, every father on my block worked for a different factory, and you knew exactly what that guy made. Mm-hmm. But I don't know anyone now who actually makes stuff.
Well, I say to people all the time, you hear about these stories about the Golden Gate Bridge, I don't know, built in 39 or whatever it was, but it took a few years. But imagine going to San Francisco and attempting to build the Golden Gate Bridge now. You would be 15 years and $500 million into it, and we'd still be doing environmental impact reports and soil erosion reports, and there'd be a whole group saying, you put those caissons in there, and the migratory whales won't be able to get into the bay. It would never get built.
Yeah.
It would never happen. We'd be on, log pontoon rafts like Escape from Alcatraz, trying to get back and forth from San Francisco to Tiburon. We just wouldn't do it. I don't think
I think the view alone would keep people. They would say you're going to destroy, rather than the fact that everyone now loves that bridge.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But yes, there would be like the natural beauty and serenity of this, and it would be designated some sort of public park or whatever, and you'd need a cajillion permits, and there'd be assholes chaining themselves to the first caisson rig that went out there to dig the thing, and it would never get done. And people would be telling you all about the doom and gloom and how it's going to destroy the bay and blah, 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 but, I agree. I'd like to sort of turn back the clock a little. Now, they do those projects, and they would have a deaths per million. Like for every $1 million, we're going to have a guy die, but he's just going to be a drunken Irishman anyway. So who cares?
You see that in Dubai, where they build all these buildings, and then you hear thousands of people died, and you know that wouldn't happen in this country anymore.
Take, like I said, you get the Golden Gate Bridge, you're minus 6 alcoholic Irishmen. I think it's a small price to pay. Wouldn't you say?
That's the thing, though. But the people who built that bridge, and there had to be thousands and thousands and thousands of them, probably, and they and their family look at that and go, look what I accomplished. Just being part of something that's going to outlive you, where now people just make websites or marketing campaigns and they don't give a shit.
Well, what about the family members of the dickhead who the grandchildren of the guy who launched the environmental impact report so we couldn't get a bullet train from LA to Vegas? That'll be part of that douchebag's legacy.
That thing that didn't exist.
Yeah. Hey, there would have been a way to get from LA to Vegas in under 2 hours on a bullet train, but my great grandfather found a species of lizard that lives in the high desert. So he put the kibosh on that whole thing, and now everyone is driving there.
Well, you do a whole chapter here on how tough it is to go into business. You got into the wine business.
Yes.
And it's just, it's a nightmare that you go through.
Well, the government is, if you want to launch a wine, you need to come up with a label. They need to approve it. And if they don't approve it, they don't approve it. They don't tell you why. They just tell you try again. The great thing about the government, I now am switching the vineyard. So I'm going from one vineyard to the next vineyard. So they go, fine. Well, it's going to take 3 months for the label approval process. And I say, we already have a label. It was already approved. We're just putting it on a different bottle now. No. You need to resubmit. And it's like, why do I need to resubmit for the same logo, the same label, the same story, simply on a new bottle? Mm-hmm. Same thing is in the bottle. Nothing has changed. No. you have to resubmit. It takes months, and they're dickheads about it. You know, I said to them, you know, write the story of how you invented Mangria. And I said, all right, here's the story. I got some red wine. I went to my liquor cabinet. Oh, no, you can't say that. I said, why not? I went to my liquor cabinet. Yeah, we don't say liquor or alcohol or anything like that. I said in one, the white one, I said it's a peach pear flavor, but I said it packs a punch. Oh, no. You can't imply that you could become intoxicated from imbibing this product. And it's like, it should be illegal not to say you can't get drunk. Yeah. Fucking hairspray says it's flammable, right? Like everything has a warning on it. There is no such thing as any tequila bottle, fortified wine, or, you know, malt liquor, anything that says you will get jacked up if you consume this product. Right. They will not allow you to say what the product does to you, which is insane because you'd think on every other thing you put in your body, you may experience drowsiness or projectile BMs or whatever it is. They won't let you put it out without telling you what it could possibly do to you. Booze, there's nothing you can say. I mean, you sell cigarettes, you have to show pictures of black lungs and people smoking Tiparillos through trach holes, but they can't do it in the booze department. You can't say, oh, it packs a punch. Well, illegal.
You know, when you go through something like this, at least you had other income. But imagine if you were a guy just getting into this business and waiting for it to kick in before you had money coming back. Oh. You would eventually go, this isn't worth it. I'm going to kick out.
I tell the story of Joel McHale in his swimming pool in Los Angeles all the time because he lives in the hills of Los Angeles, and he knows I was a former builder. And he said to me, you know, he bought a nice house, but then his career kept going. And so he wanted to put that money into his house and remodel his house and put a swimming pool in for his kids and so on and so forth. So I said, he said, hey, I'm thinking about putting a pool in my backyard. I said, you live up in the hills, right? He said, yeah. I said, good luck. He said, what do you mean? I said, believe me, when you're done with the permits and the environmental impact and the double hold, literally, you have to put like double wall so if any water leaks out into the ground table, and blah, blah, blah. I talked to the guy like 6 months later. He's like, oh. I said, how's the pool going? He's like, fucking forget it. I said, why? I said, we went pull the permit, then we had to get a soils erosion report, then we had to, $35,000 in. I just said, forget it. I'll use the gay neighbor's pool. And that's what he did. Yeah. And I say, nice job, California. Nice job, LA. Not only did you lose the jobs of the guys who dig the pool, who do the gunite, who do the rebar, who do that, then you lost a bunch of business for the pool supply place up the street. And then the guy who would be your pool man, he doesn't get the gig. You don't get the tax revenue that would have come from adding another $100,000 to the price of Joel McHale's house. We're all lost because you assholes don't care. You're like, screw you and your pool. You don't build it. By the way, that's why everyone goes to Texas, dickheads. You're not getting that math? Him putting a pool in his backyard is good. It's good for him. It's good for you. You get more taxes. It's good for the contractor that builds it. It's good for everybody.
It just seems like wearing you down. That's what they do. That's what they said to do. Just to hold this thing for a while until you go, what am I doing? I could be doing other stuff, you know? I talked to Suzanne Summers. I like to drop a lot of construction celebrity names. She lives in Malibu. She's lived in Malibu for 30 years. Malibu is part of the Coastal Commission. And I said to her, her house burnt down to the ground after a big fire about 5 years ago. I said, you're going to rebuild? She's like, I'm too old. I said, what do you mean? She said, Coastal Commission. By the time I'm done with the permits and the whole thing, I'll be dead. So no, I'm not going to rebuild. I'm like, but you lived in Malibu your whole life and your house burnt down. You can't rebuild your house? Nah. It's too big a hassle. Not even worth it. Sell the ground to a 25-year-old who can retire there.
A wealthy 25-year-old who's well-connected and can get the permits pushed through.
Speaking of which, how's things going with your podcast? I know that lawsuit thing has everyone who does a podcast is watching it, wondering what's going on.
Well, we've raised a bunch of money thanks to folks going to Fund Anything and donating to the Legal Defense Fund. We're going to fight it. We've been fighting it. A couple people have been deposed so far. It's total bullshit. They set up they hang a shingle in, some part of backwater Texas. They have judges there that I found this out the other day. I said, what do they have in Texas? Is that where their offices are? No, they have a P.O. box there. It's where they do their business. I said, that's the judge. We wanted to change a venue. Like, why are we going to Eastern Texas to do this thing? They're out of Manhattan. I'm in Los Angeles. What are we going to Eastern Texas for? Let's get a change of venue. $50,000 later, the judge is like, nah, it's going down in Texas. I said, that'd be interesting. What if I just got a P.O. box in Nevada and said, hey, government, that's where my P.O. box is, so I don't want to pay any state income taxes. They'd go, bullshit.
Right.
You live in Los Angeles. You don't get to just get a P.O. box in Nevada and try to avoid taxes. The government is really good at that kind of stuff. You owe them money.
Right.
They're Johnny on the fucking spot.
Yeah, they'll be there quick.
In this situation, not so much.
Yeah.
So, we have no choice but to fight it. We'll fight it, and we'll win. It's going to cost $1 million to fight it.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's sad, but that's part of our new evolved reality.
Yeah.
Everyone sues everyone, and that's progress.
And now the weird thing about it is everyone who's ever heard your podcast has started their own podcast. So there's nothing but podcasts out there now.
And that's what I say. And if this doesn't work, it's going to be hard for everybody because everyone will be next. And conversely, if we do win, we do shut them down, we do set a precedent, then they should go away, because why would they come after anyone else when they already came after me and lost? That'll be the only case. That'll be precedent.
So they just picked you because you had the most successful one going, or you had no idea why you got picked out for this?
I don't. I assume they just went to iTunes and kind of went up, just went along the top there and went, well, these guys seem like they're doing pretty good, so we'll go after them. I don't think they went after ones they hadn't heard of that were being done out of mom's basement, because they figured, well, there's no deep pockets. They figured, well, I got deep pockets. They'll come after me. And for me, I say to people all the time when they go, well, court's really expensive. Lawyers are really expensive. It's a hassle. That's what they count on, by the way. And they go, look, how much just, what's the right amount of money just to make this all go away?
Yeah.
And I say to people, if you were just walking out to your car after work and some guy tapped on your shoulder and said, give me $250,000 and you won't see me tomorrow, what would you say? And then somebody would say to you, look, he's going to be waiting by your car every single day. Do you really want that? Just give him $100,000. He'll probably take it. And I would say, what the fuck am I giving him $100,000 for? I don't even know this guy. I didn't do anything to him. And they go, yeah, but just give him $100,000 because he's going to be here every day. It's going to be a big hassle for you. It's going to have cost you more in the long run. And I'm always like, what is the proper amount to give somebody that you didn't take anything from, that you have no relationship with? What is the proper amount?
This is what your dad tried to explain to you about never handing over lunch money when you're a little kid. The guy might be bigger, but it won't end. You got to deal with it.
And not only, well, bigger picture, not that my dad and I spoke or that he ever imparted any wisdom, but I do know what you're saying metaphorically. For me, it's more about, if I hand this guy over my lunch money, then that will take care of me. But he's just going to go to the next nerd in line and start shaking them down.
Yeah.
And then the next, and then the next, and anyone who does a podcast is in that lunch line.
Yeah, it's true. It really is true. And it seems like a lot of people are rallying around you. You raise some money to do this.
Yeah.
But there will never be, enough money. You're just going to have to keep churning against these guys until finally the courts side with you.
Yeah, we do believe that they will, and we do believe that their case is already spurious and sort of coming undone before it started. But unfortunately, I'm 90 or 100 grand into defending myself.
Unbelievable.
I wish it was unbelievable. Sadly, I believe it.
Well, you talk about bullying in the book too. That's the new phrase now, is bullying and online bullying, but you're not falling for it.
I want my son more so than my daughter, but I'd like them to get their ass kicked around a little bit. I don't mean beaten with a pool cue.
Right.
I just mean somebody telling them, hey, shut up, get in line, do your work, get down and do some push-ups. Like, I'm fine with that. I want some grit. I want some toughness. I spent my whole youth playing football and having some scary guy in a windbreaker scream at me.
Right.
And I'm fine with it. It made me who I am. I don't mind it now. I understand that there are people that know things that I don't know, that I don't, I would never say, oh, you're not the boss of me, or I talk to like 28-year-old guys now, and they're like, hey man, could you watch your tone? And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you little piece of dude shit? Shut up. It's insane. Everybody feels special, entitled. By the way, the joke's on them. I've hired and employed a lot of people, and the ones that feel super special because mommy and daddy made them feel super special, and no one's ever said a word to them or a harsh word or raised their voice to them, they're worthless. I won't employ those people. I want people that have been kicked around a little bit, understand that there's a ranking and an order. And, it's like the military. They're privates. You're the general. Shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah, I think I think back to my neighborhood, and you just didn't take that shit too personal. It was just some of the stuff that you had to put up with sometime, whether it was from school or the cops or coaches or even bigger kids. But you never sat down and you went, what's wrong with me? You were just like, those fucking dudes were bigger and older. And what are you going to do?
I completely agree. I don't know when it ever became when we started internalizing everything.
Right.
I was just like, boy, that guy's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Or that cop's an asshole. Or this coach is mean.
Yeah.
Or this teacher's mean. Or maybe I am stupid. Like, maybe I should have studied.
Right.
Maybe I should have done that book report.
I never got around to that point. I just thought, this is the price you pay for not doing those things.
That's what I thought. Like, I just got a D- and a frowny face on the book report. Maybe I should have read the book.
Yeah. Or learn to just deal with it. No, there's what happens sometimes. It's almost like you don't take it personal when someone gives you a check at the end of the meal. All right, now I got to fucking pay for it. If you're going to go out and have fun for a while, you get home, your dad smacks you, you're like, okay.
Yeah. Or you're super hungover the next day when you're at your job. Listen, that's why it always drove me nuts. I think it was President Obama said a few years ago, it's like, anyone can have a kid, but it takes a hero to raise the kid. And I said, that's like saying anyone can eat at IHOP, but it takes a hero to pay the check. Right. It's like, no, it doesn't. That's your bill, dick. Yeah. That's
the thing, yeah.
That's what you do at the end of eating a bunch of pancakes and bacon. You now owe them $14. It's not hero. You raising a kid doesn't make you a hero. That's your goddamn responsibility.
It's almost like we don't believe the hero gimmick anyway.
Nobody gives a shit
whatever
about
you call somebody a hero, it just means you're not getting a raise. The cops, the teachers, you guys are heroes. There's your raise.
By the way, people that get free dogs down at the pound are heroes now. We used to just look at them as poor people.
Right.
Yeah, now everyone's a fucking hero. Hero, you got to pull something. You got to pull somebody out of something that's on fire.
Right.
And then I'll call you a hero. Raising your kid or getting a free dog.
Yeah.
Not going to go ahead and give you the mantle of hero.
So the teachers, not heroes to you. These are our heroes.
Fuck no. First off, they do this thing where it's like they're heroes. I had a million teachers. I'd say 2% of them gave a shit or were any good.
Right.
The rest were like just getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, they're always like, well, they don't get paid anything. And it's like, well, let's not forget they get 3.5 months off during the summer every year. That ain't too bad.
Yeah.
I haven't had more than 4 days off in the last 5 years. So you get the entire summer off. Number one. Number two, the thing that pisses me off about the teachers now that I have kids is, I didn't realize this. Everything they schedule is on their hours. So the conference, the play, the mommy daddy day, whatever it is, it's always like, about noon on Wednesday. And you're like, I'm working at noon on Wednesday. I'll tell you how about this? How about we do it at 8 o'clock at night on Wednesday? They're like, fuck that. I leave at 3. And they never do it on a Saturday either. It's always on their thing, and you got to come to them. You know what? I'd like to have a teacher that just collected your kid's shitty artwork and just brought it over on a Saturday and went, here's what he's done. And then you'd go, good.
That's great.
You'd just be sitting on the sofa drinking a beer.
Yeah.
That's awesome. See your way to the door.
Yeah.
You want to know what colossal pieces of shit kids have turned into? I went to my daughter's, like, daddy comes to school day. Again, it's 11:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. My wife will be pissed if I don't go. I go there and I go into her classroom and I'm the only one there because I went on another day because I had to work the other day, but whatever it is. I walk into her classroom. Everyone's in the first grade. There's a bunch of 6 and 7-year-olds standing around. I walk into class. There's the teacher. Teacher is a nose stud. Wearing go-go boots. And by the way, so funny. She has her Starbucks cup out there with the big Frappuccino dome lid on it. And it says Stacy on it. And I walk up to her and I go, hey, you may want to turn that in because the kids are going to, they all call me by my first name. I'm like,
they call her Stacy.
Could you imagine finding out one of your teacher's first names with the nose stud and the go-go boots? Yeah, they know me. So I said, all right. So I'm walking around the class and my daughter's giving me the tour and, some kid taps on my ass, taps on my backside and goes, hey, you're not supposed to be in here. And I thought, could you imagine when you're in first grade if some big old dad of one of your friends was walking around the class like you're going to go settle his hash?
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? It would have fucking hit you with his flask. He would literally just pull his flask out and just back flasked you with it. Could you imagine? And I was scared of all adults when I was 7. Could you imagine walking in knowing that I was scared of all my friends' dads. Can you imagine going in there and walking up to him like, hey, Pops, hit the bricks.
Yeah, well, they were always such angry, tired people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was they were exhausted. There was always work boots outside. They didn't wear their own shoes.
Oh, I can remember Dave, when's your dad coming? Oh, Mr. Vendick's pulling up the driveway. Shit, I got to get out of here.
I'm out. I'm done.
I don't even want to chance it.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's pissed about. I don't want to get caught in the crossfire.
Normally something with weeds. Something at a
whatever it is. He's coming through that front door, and I don't want to be collateral damage. I'm out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But I guess some little kids will even call their friends' dads and moms by their first name.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't know David Vendig's dad. I didn't know his dad's name.
Yeah,
his David Vendig's dad,
right?
Mr. Vendig. I didn't know what his fucking name was. But I never called him by it. That
thing where the car would just pull up next to you, and the old man would roll down, get home. That's all right. You get home.
They didn't have to tell me twice. Yeah. I was out the door.
You had to start flying.
Every one of my friends' dads was pissed off and tired. And by the way, it was time to eat.
Yeah, it was always time. That was the big deal.
They were home.
Right.
It was food time. Now I come home. My wife's like, "What do you want to do? Indian, Italian, sushi?" Oh, you didn't stop the car, did you? You got to go back out and pick up some Indian.
That's how it was at my house too. It was literally my dad came in. That's when dinner started. Everybody had to be ready. There wasn't any question of, so what are we going to do? Let's debate this. Let's talk
now
about
you
it.
come home at 7 o'clock. It's like, what's for dinner? I don't know. What are you thinking about? Like, I don't know. What do you mean? What am I thinking about? I've been gone all day. Oh, well, pick something up on your way back.
All this is going to change once Adam Carolla is president, although I don't know how. I don't know how you're going to make these moves, but they're all in the book, one after another. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in here today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And I'll be back anytime you'll have me.
All right. I'll see you then.